Hello guys, today we will be solving the 10th problem, that is regular expression matching. It's a hard problem mostly due to implementation challenges, and this is a very tricky problem that you first need to think carefully through, then only you can implement. I'll be skipping over the coding part of it because since it was a hard problem, I had to submit multiple times and have multiple failures before I could submit it once correctly. And when I finally did, here I am with you guys to share my solution. So let's get into the problem. So basically, we are given two strings. One is a string and another is a regex expression, and we have to match that regex expression in that string and check whether that string is following the regex pattern or not. All right, and the pattern can have two wild characters. One of them is dot. What that dot basically does is it matches any of the characters in that string, but only a single one. For example, dot can be either A or B or C or D or anything. By the way, the string can only contain letters A to Z, and the pattern can contain A to Z along with the two wildcards. One is dot, another is star. The asterisk or star matches the previous element in the string with n number of its occurrences, and it can be either 0 or more than 0. All right, so that's basically the problem. Here are some examples of this. Here we can match both of the a's with two occurrences of this a because star is there after single a. All right, and similarly here we can check we have a and b, and we can match. uh, we can basically, with the help of star, we can convert this single dot into two dots, and both of those uh, periods will match with a and b. And here, for example, C star is there. What this basically signifies is we can have either 0 or n occurrences of C. So we will choose with 0 occurrences of C, then we'll go to A, and we can have n occurrences of A, but we will choose only two occurrences because there are two, and then we will match with this B. All right. Okay. So this problem can be categorically divided into three parts. So using the I'll be using the brute force approach, and the brute force approach is one with recursion in it. So we will have a recursive function named mashed over here that will take the same parameters string s and p and take the indexes where we currently are. Or what I mean by that is the indices up to which the matching has already been done. So in this case, there we haven't matched a single index, so we'll start from the starting index, and this is the recursive function that will used for recursion. All right, and if index of p is greater than equal to p dot size, what this basically checks is whether we have exhausted the pattern. What I mean by that is we have checked already matched this A with this A. Now when the index comes to the end of P, it'll see that P has already been exhausted. Now there can only be two options. All right. So what are the two options? That the two options will be one if the index of S has also come to an end. For example, let me show you where this. So let's say this. All right, so after matching the first A, the index will be here, and for this the index will be here, and you can see that A has ended. The string has not yet ended, but P has ended, string P. So basically, in this case we cannot form the string S from the pattern P, and that is the case. Like if S has also not ended, then return false. But in case S also has one character, after one iteration both of them will be at the end, or let's say even multiple A's are there, right? So at the time when both of the indices Pi and Si are at the end of their respective strings, what that means is we have matched the pattern with the string. So we can return true. This is the first case that I just showed you guys. Here in this particular case, if si dot size is also si is also greater than size of s, then we return true because both p and s have been exhausted and the pattern has been matched. But if that is not the case and the pattern the pattern has been exhausted, but the string has yet not been matched. That means it is not possible to match those, and we return false. Now there is another base case, that is this one that I'll explain to you. Let's take for example s is equal to aab and um, p is equal to a dot b. Sorry, yeah. Initially the cursor will be here, all right, and after the first matching both of them have a, right, so they will match and then the cursor will come here. Now in this particular case as well, you can see that a will match with the wild character period, right? Now since that is the case, we have checked for these two combinations, like if both are either equal or if p is period. In that particular case we are moving the cursor of si as well as pi by 1, and that is what we just did, and in the next iteration we have to do just that again. So that will pi will move by 1 and this also will move by 1, and similarly b from s is equal to b from p, so the cursor will again move by 1, and here also the cursor will move by 1. In the final ending both of them have been exhausted, and in the recursive phase this base case will be triggered and they will return true because the pattern has been matched with the string. All right, now let's get into the actual main core part of the logic. That is, what will we do if we have an asterisk? You can check this condition over here. It says the condition is when the condition will be triggered when the p of I plus 1 is asterisk. Why so? Because a of star can signify multiple things. One is it can signify zero number of a's, it can signify single a, it can signify two a's, it can signify three a's, and so on. All right, so that is what a star signifies, and we have to take into account all of these instances of a star, and due to that a single a star can have multiple branches during recursion. All right, so let's take for example this one at the top. After our first iteration of the recursive algorithm, we will have this because the first one is matched. Now we have this, but this will not get triggered. Why? Because we have star after here the first cursor. All right, so see, this part of the code, that is the core logic, will be triggered when p of pi plus 1 is equal to star. So in this particular case pi is this and pi plus 1 is this. Since it is star, what that signifies is this single a can have either zero occurrence of a or one occurrence of a or two occurrence of a. It can even have three, but for this particular case it will have only three branches because thus s has only three. Now how will that get triggered? See, when we have zero occurrence of a, the cursor for s will remain as it is because we didn't consume any a due to this a star. All right, so the cursor will move here, and next for one occurrence of a we will consume 1 from s, and similar even for any number of a's we consume in s, we basically move the cursor by 2 because that's what this whole character signifies. All right, and then for two occurrence of a that we consume in s, we again move similarly in p. Now in the first two cases you can check that here the next character is a but the next character in p is b, so they won't match no matter what we do, so we will return false. In this particular case as well we have a in s and b in p, so this will also return false. But for in this third case where we are consuming two occurrence of a for a star, the cursor will be here, and for this the cursor will be here. In both the cases the next character is b. So after that the next iteration we will have this as the output. Now in this case we have returned to the base case and it'll return as true. All right, so that's how it'll solve the problem. And thanks for watching, guys. I hope it helped you, and don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe and all that thing, and keep lit coding. Bye bye.